Ruined by a bunch of the slow.
You should sneak in a little bit, like some body fly.
I know that's the one I'm gonna sit down and break and lose it. I don't have a violin or a camera that I got around.
Oh, yeah, that was on.
Hello, it is me, Priscilla, the co-host of The Joe Flynn Show. And I am here today at the Sacramento Film Festival with Chris Notarile, who is the writer and director of Methodic. And Chris's table definitely caught my eye because Methodic looks scary. So welcome, Chris. Can you tell me a little bit about Methodic and your experience with making this movie?
Yeah, Methodic is the world's first basher movie. It's a term that I coined basically. No movie has ever been specifically marketed to beating people to death. So I am the pioneer of said subgenre, the basher. It's very cool. Basically, in Methodic, we take the idea of Halloween and we give it a shot of steroids and we let it run wild.
Bashers. So let's see the different types of horror movies. There's thriller, there's psychological, there's slasher, but basher being different by
Bludgeoning people until they no longer cease to be. So, baseball bats, sledgehammer, hammer, lead pipes, bare hands, frying pans, and golf clubs. All weapons we use in our movie.
So no limit to the gore and to the violence.
No limit.
No limit.
For a character like that, you know, if you got a guy who's beating people to death, clearly they gotta have a lot of aggression. So our character is not a walking kind of character. He runs, he punches, he kicks, he does everything, and he gets pretty messy.
Gotcha. And how the audience reactions or any feedback from this type of movie?
Yeah, we got a lot of feedback, and it always starts out the same way. For anybody who doesn't watch the movie, they immediately say out loud, like, "This looks like a Halloween ripoff." Duh, because it is. But then you get to the third act, and everyone always says, once they finish watching the movie, "Whoa, I did not see where that was going." Like, I take it in one direction specifically, just to mess with people and make them think I want to do one specific thing, and then I say, and I do something completely entirely different, which I can't give that away because that would, give away the ending of the movie. That's bad. But yeah, the whole point of the movie is I like messing with people. So we clearly mess with people. This one, I will even have a self-parodying joke about the concept of the film in the sequel.
Excellent. And are you a horror movie fan, or did you just want to try out this type of movie just for kicks, or have you made other movies that have been different type of
I'm going to ignore
genre?
that question and talk about global politics now. Seriously, I've always been a fan of horror movies and action movies, and I try to combine the elements of the action film and the horror film. And I like putting like adrenaline into my things. I mean, I love Halloween, I love Michael Myers, and I like Jason. I just don't see how they can always walk. It's great, okay, if I slash your Achilles tendon, sure, if you're crawling, I can walk up to you and stab you. But so many people run through the woods and then they trip and then boom, there he is. It's not possible. I like my killer to sprint and dash and run and charge and trot and canter. It's a horse. But yeah, I've always been a fan of horror movies, and I said to myself, when getting into it, like, what can I do that will be different, that people will enjoy, and that's where Methodic comes from.
Well said. My next question for you, which you've already answered perfectly, was going to be, what do you hate?
What do I hate? Actually, that's a longer question. It's a longer answer. I hate stupid people. I've continually hated stupid people throughout the course of my life, on the internet, in the media, in person, neighbors. So I like to see in my films people who aren't entirely stupid. I like having real people doing real things. I don't like, hey, we're going to have a sex orgy and drink alcohol and do drugs on the night of the anniversary of someone murdered everybody. Doesn't really sit well with me. So like in Methodic particularly, our killer is very smart, our characters are really smart. The only reason why the killer manages to get away with so much before anyone catches on is that he's just such a sneaky bastard. He's just going to places where he knows people won't be, kills a person, and then leaves, and no one finds that body until it's like way later. So I like that. I like seeing the real element, as well as, you know, I don't like movies that don't have a decent story. It's like every killer needs like a good backstory or no backstory whatsoever, so it can be a complete myth. But you can't overexploit it or underexploit it for that matter. So like in this one, we really tried to establish a healthy background for the character that wasn't too much or too little. It was just enough.
Interesting. You seem pretty intense, and it seems like you know what's important: writing and originality and trying something different and being bold. So that is.
I try. Like, one of the things that I try to do with our scenes is I try to write dialogue that is as normal as possible, stuff you'd hear in a conversation. I don't like how, like, you know, you saw Maniac Cop. There's this one line that always gets me. The scene where Bruce Campbell leaves the prison and this nurse walks into the corner and she's like, "Here's your green tie, doctor. What for?" "Well, you know it's St. Patrick's Day." It's like, oh my God, come on! There are so many other ways of doing it. Happy St. Patty's Day. Hey, you going out drinking tonight? Yeah, it's St. Patty's Day. But no, here's your green tie, doctor. Put it on. Don't forget there's a parade today where the Maniac Cop's gonna kill her. I didn't like that. So I like doing subtle things like that. Or, yeah, I don't like conversation in my movies that is 100% pertinent to the exact plot. Like, I don't want my hero explaining every single thing to the audience. And I like to treat my audiences as they're somewhat intelligent.
Good points. Good points you're making. You don't want the dialogue to kind of tell what's going to happen.
Yeah, like in Friday the 13th, there was that crazy old guy on the bike.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Jason Voorhees is gonna get you. He's gonna get. It's like, oh, come on, man. There's so many better ways to do that. And I don't have any crazy old guys on bikes in my movies. I don't even have a Dr. Loomis character saying the same story over and over again, reminding you guys, by the way, this is the crazy character. I don't have that. I have just people with hunches, and they talk and they think about things, and they, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? They speculate. They ponder.
Well, I appreciate your intensity and your passion, and if somebody wanted to obtain a copy of Methodic, how could they obtain a copy?
Currently, we are working on a distribution deal, which will put the movie ultimately out in stores, hopefully this spring. But currently, you can get a copy at methodic.blinky-productions.com, and it should be right there, methodic.blinky-productions.com. You go on there, email me directly, and you know, send the appropriate money because it should be free, and I'll send you a copy.
Excellent. Do you have a MySpace as well?
You can also go to myspace.com/methodicmovie or .com/Blinky500. That's my personal one, so you can say hi and tell me that you loved the movie after watching it, and if you didn't like it, send me your home address so I can find you and tell you that you like it.
And do you like getting feedback, you know?
I like feedback. I like it when people, you know, watch it because I really want to see what they think. And, you know, Methodic was made for fans by fans. It was originally supposed to be a Halloween remake for myself. And when I couldn't do it because Rob Zombie took over the project, and this was like a dream I had for 9 years, I was very upset. So I took out the elements that I added to the John Carpenter script, and that became Methodic, and then I filled in the gaps and wrote the story and everything. And, like, you know, I was very hush-hush while filming it, and then putting it out there. I go on, like, the Halloween message boards. There's the Bastard Liberation Front, my buddies, and they always just tell me what they're into, what they like, what they want to see, and I start taking, you know, P's and Q's from that, like, what kind of kills do you want? And so I'm just like, dude, I'd love to see someone just, like, get a sledgehammer in the face, and, alright, take care of that. Let me do that.
Nice. And you had an involvement with today at Sacramento Horror Film Fest. Is it A Maniac Is in My House?
I did a short film for the contest called There's a Maniac in My House, and it was part of the final minutes contest. I didn't win. The ones that did win, they were good. I'll give them that. So glad I lost the quality.
How long did that take to put that together? And was that fun to put together the last moments instead of, you know?
I actually came up with the idea.
Oh, really?
I spoke to the festival guys, Tim, and I'm like, dude, he says, I want to do a contest. He goes, what? I go, what do you want it to be? He goes, I don't know, I'm not sure. I go, how about like the last 5 minutes of a horror movie? He goes, well, what kind of last 5 minutes? I'm like, how about the last 5 minutes of a slasher? He says, well, I want to do zombies. Fuck it, we'll do both. And then he says, okay, so what are we going to do? I'm like, I want to do the totally awesome 80s ending to a horror movie. He goes, are you sure? I'm like, dude, I just shot it yesterday. Come on, we're doing it now. So I shot it back in February, before like the contest was even announced. I was so excited just to do it. We shot in about like 2-3 hours in my house, in my basement. And the idea was just to really goof and spoof on those movies from the 80s that didn't make sense. Like the killer always manages to get away, and at the end we have our doctor detective. Because I always loved how doctors manage to carry firearms in some horror movies. You know, it's like I'm his doctor, and this is my Roscoe. So yeah, we had the doctor detective character, and that was his name, Doctor Detective. And you know, at the end he's like, "Fuck! How the hell do they always do that?" Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you very much for the interview. And that was my interview with Chris Notarile. And I love the look.
Thank you.
I love the look. So please obtain your copy of Methodic.